Everything is value-based. Hitler was values-based. Donald Trump is values-based. Coca-Cola, values-based. Whether you know it and accept it and understand it or not is irrelevant.
They've helped companies really find out who they are. So what I'll do now is hand you over to David Charles from Living Blueprint, where he gives you a fantastic understanding of who you really are. Welcome, David Charles from Living Blueprint to the Build, Live, Give podcast. Great to have you on, David.
Thank you for having me.
David, what do you do for a living? How do you best describe it?
We help companies very deliberately understand exactly how they got to where they are and capitalize on it so they can grow exponentially.
And when you say companies, like what type of companies?
What we target are decision makers within organizations or teams at a specific point in their history where they realize they can overtake their competitors, or they have way more to offer and they don't know how to tap into it, or they're running really quick. We had one client, it was a $1 billion company and thousands of employees. And when I met Christian after like 5 or 6 rounds of pitching to his entire executive team, after we were hired, he said, look, we're growing really fast. I want to know that we know who we are. Can you help us with that? And that's what we did. We verified and added onto and added clarity. They didn't know how to say it before because they're the fastest growing retailer in British Columbia and arguably coming up upon Canada. They're outselling everybody. So the quest was, why? Now think about this. When you sell Porsche, every Porsche dealership has to be owned in a region by a different owner. That's how they do it. And a lot of car companies do this, meaning if there's 3 Porsche vendors in Vancouver, they can't all be owned by one person. Because Porsche doesn't.
And what's the reason for that?
I think it has something to do with monopolies and all that kind of business, keeping business fair, but you can't own them all. But now let's look at that. They don't set the price for the car. They don't do the advertising for the car. They don't design the showroom for the car. So they sell the same car to the same people in the same place at the same price, in the same roof, same salespeople, same everything. So everything is equal except for one thing. They outpace and outgrow everybody for every brand they sell. So then it's like, okay, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
They're different. What is that? And you can't find that by looking at the competitors. We had to dig through and say, well, there is something different here because everything is the same except the results. And that, or if you really think about that, that is about embodying who and what you are as an organization. What are your actual beliefs and how do they feel that? Because really, every product, every decision, every process you have is a direct and complete reflection of your values, whether you understand it or not. Everything is value-based. Hitler was values-based. I don't agree with his values. I think he was a little off, but he was values-based. He absolutely was. Donald Trump is values-based. Coca-Cola, values-based. Whether you know it and accept it and understand it or not is irrelevant. And those values were why they were growing and outpacing everybody in this region, hands down. And we isolated exactly what stood out, what was unique to them, and we turned that into their platform. And I know they've grown significantly since that, but they were on that trajectory anyway. So for me to say they went up by this amount, I will never claim ownership because they were going to do that anyway. But what Christian said was the confidence they had after this process made them move harder, faster, and more deliberately.